Basketball fans, what is up? And welcome to the All Basketball Podcast, where debates often take place. Once again, it's your host, Maurice Dixon. And I got James on the show with me tonight. June 1st, me and James preview the NBA season. Now, just like that, we're previewing the NBA Finals. This time, OKC, the Thunder, and the Indiana Pacers. Who would have thought? The way the season went, I saw OKC getting this point, had a good chance getting this point, despite their youth. Indiana didn't see this, but I did feel like they, as I wrote on my site covering the game, they'd be playing a lot of pressure-free basketball since wouldn't be many expectations from outside sources, anything like that. And they, after making the East Finals last year and falling short to Boston, and this time they jumped that. They're in the finals. It's a fourth seed. Just coming off beating the Knicks last night at home 4-2 in that series. So not what I expected. What did you expect, James? I know we didn't get to official playoff preview, but Indiana, I mean, just the whole where we're at now.
Yeah, I love it, man. I like the matchup. I like OKC versus Indiana. It should be fun. It should be fast paced, and both these teams have depth, and it looked like that's where we're going with the NBA right now. It's not enough to have a big two or a big three. That's not enough. You need to have depth. You need to be able to go 9, 10 deep. You can't just come playoff time on play 7, 8 guys. That's how it was back in the day. We came up, playoff time came, the playoff roster got shortened. You're gonna play your top 7, 8 guys at the most, and you're relying on your starters, especially your top 3 options, top 2, top 3 options. Now you gotta have another starting 5 come out there, pretty much, or else it's gonna be hard for you to compete. And this go back to last year with Boston. Boston was deep last year. They came at you in droves. You know, they even had at one point they were bringing Porzingis off the bench. You bringing Al Horford off the bench. You bringing Pritchard off the bench. I mean, they would bring in a second unit and go up 16, 20 points on you. And now it's carried over to this year where both teams that made it to the finals just so happen to not only be the healthiest team, because you always got to be the healthiest teams that make it to the finals, but you also have to be deep. And New York wasn't deep enough at the end of the day. Tom Thibodeau tried. He did his best to expand the roster. He did, because usually, Tom Thibodeau, he'll play his starters the whole game. He might go 6 deep. He might go 7. But he was actually going 9 deep. The problem is he could only play that 9th or 10th guy. He was just using them to steal minutes. So to say, Precious Achiuwa was there to steal minutes. He ain't really on the level. He was bringing in Darrell Wright, who hadn't been playing. Hell, I almost forgot he was on the squad.
No, not Darrell Wright. That's the older one.
DeLon Wright. Yeah, right. DeLon Wright. You get my point. Like, he was only there to steal minutes, not to really be a heavy contributor, because he's not on the level. So New York has a good team. They just ain't deep enough. They need a couple more guys to expand that bench, because when you get into a series like they got into, they just got outpaced by the Pacers.
Yeah, I seen it when that before that series started. I was like, New York, they were. I felt like they were built to beat Boston, but I was like, this Indiana team I don't think it's gonna go the way I felt like New York had a good chance, but I was like, I'm not gonna be surprised if Indiana win after the way they beat Milwaukee, even though Milwaukee had a serious injury, but they kind of had their number all year, really the past 2 seasons. And then once they caught Cleveland at the right time and stole game yeah, the way they stole game 1, and then no, I'm sorry, game 2, because game 1 they played well. Some people were out, but then game 2, them Cleveland choking away that lead, and then I mean the Knicks game 1. I mean you up 14 with some change
Right.
left. You gotta I mean Neesmith just went off. It was just crazy. It was I
crazy.
mean, I still think New York choked, but I think Indiana, everything that could go right for Indiana went right. I mean, dude made 5 threes, like, because even if New York, I mean, they was getting baskets. And I know they had a turnover and a missed free throw,
Right.
that did hurt them, but they didn't mess up too much.
Which is why I don't, even though Halliburton did the choke sign and all that kind of stuff, they didn't choke. Sometimes you got to give credit to the other team. When I was watching that game, this is game 1, and game 1 is the reason why New York lost the series. Because if they would have won game 1 like they're supposed to, last night win would have made it 3-3, and then we playing the game 7 in New York tomorrow. But since they lost game 1, when I was watching game 1, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm finna get ready to turn it. This game
I went to sleep.
New York still, but some said keep watching it because it was time on the clock. And I know that sometimes when you watching basketball, NBA playoff basketball, a miracle happens. Reggie Miller scores 9 points with 8 seconds on the clock.
8 and 9 seconds. Yeah, 8 and 9 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it took a miracle.
Yeah.
It took Neesmith hitting 5 threes in a row. Like that kind of stuff just don't happen. But that's what it took for New York to lose that game. And then Halliburton had to step back, hit a shot, it bounced all the way up to the roof, and then it can't. Like when stuff like that happen, I can't call that a choke. I just gotta say them folks had good mojo on their side.
They did. I was listening to the Odd Couple and Kelvin Washington and Rob Parker. Rob called it a choke. Kelvin was like, and I'm kind of where you at. Like, I agree with what you're saying as far as it definitely wasn't a choke. Like, there were a few moments where the Knicks could have, okay, Anunoby makes a free throw and you don't turn the ball over. Like, you don't give him extra possession. I think Anunoby slipped against Neesmith, but he just chucking, making threes. He had like one bad switch.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, just the fact that, I mean, it wasn't blatant like, okay, just a few seconds left. Kawhi Leonard missing a free throw against Miami or something like that. Or, I mean, there have been numerous chokes. Kind of like you said, in the 90s when New York kind of threw the ball away. Miller hit the 3, threw the ball away again. So it's like definite choke there. So yeah, but with that, like in that short amount of time, and it was more time, everything went right. So it was kind of an anomaly. Like, I mean, dude hit 5 threes, so it's like we gonna catch you regardless, almost, because you got to make some threes to match that. And they hit some 2s, but you miss a free throw here. Then if dude toe wouldn't have been on the line, game would have been over.
Right. Game would have been over. Right.
And so that was yeah. So as far as like, I think New York here, Thibodeau made the adjustment, but he made the adjustment kind of too late, and it's kind of not what they do. So
right. He made the right adjustment. You just don't have the right personnel.
Or they just not ready. I mean, I know Shaman has some experience, but
right,
he set campaign, started playing right. But then I just think,
I mean, I would have set campaign too. Did you see campaign playing?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
would have set him too.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe you should go to right earlier. And then
once again, what I'm trying to tell you, those guys that you naming, those guys gotta be replaced with some real guys.
Yeah.
If you trying to play, because when Indiana come off the bench with Thomas Bryant, Shepard, even when they came over and played Walker, when you played Mathurin, these guys can really play.
Well, I don't know about Thomas Bryant, but he just
Thomas Bryant was huge. He played that whole series. He played huge. I was like, because I mean I knew he was with the Pacers, but He's a quality basketball player. That's why he in the league. He plays hard. He
No, they
plays hard.
put Tony. They put Tony. What's his name? They put him in for him a few times. I thought he was kind of done. Tony, what's his name from Carolina? Mike Bradley. That dude.
Yeah. He threw him in there, but but the real reason was because Miles Turner didn't play good.
He didn't. Okay.
He didn't play good. So he was trying to find something, but he found it in Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant played huge.
So it was last night. He made the 3 threes, right?
Made the 3 threes. He rebounded. He played defense. I mean, he was everything they needed him to be. They need Miles Turner to play better, or else they're not gonna be the runner up, which is fine. But because OKC is really good. Nah, they ain't gonna get swept.
I'd be surprised they get swept.
I'd be surprised they get swept too.
I mean,
anything happens, we 0-0. Yeah, OKC can get swept.
I mean, but the Knicks. I'm still not even if they had maybe the depth. I'm not even sure. I felt like when they beat Boston, that was kind of like their championship in a way, since they kind of built their team to beat them, and the way people were celebrating and we beat them, so Indiana's gonna be easy. So I think that hurt them. But I also just don't know if people keep trying it, that people, what they call it now, the heliocentric ball, like Brunson, pick and roll, dribbling a lot, getting tough shots. Like, that's not a championship formula. I don't know why people keep going to that, and the history of the NBA is proving you're not gonna win like that. I mean, like you say, unless you have like an all-time great who can break down, and they never been somebody that small. Like Isaiah Thomas, it was different. They had a different team. They played great defense. They were physical. But other than that, I mean, I know AI took the Sixers, but the Lakers, I mean, Kobe and Shaq, it wasn't happening.
Are you saying that Jalen Brunson too small lead the team to the finals?
No, I ain't saying lead team to the finals. I'm saying just be successful enough to, I mean, really to get a championship, like, and not just in size, but the way they play, like that screen and roll, simple stuff. Like, he taking a lot of tough shots. Like, people just standing around watching.
Too, when Iverson did that, Philly had like a top defense, and clearly New York don't have a top defense, so they've been exposed. Like when you just have, like you said, Brunson in that little ISO game or the little high screen and roll, he making those tough shots. That's great, but defensively, they were attacking Brunson. Like, where Brunson at? Go ahead and do it.
Exactly.
Right. That's what did in New York. Then you got Towns, who's a defensive liability. He run the wrong way on switches and getting hurting his, but like offensively he was good, but they started exposing Towns as well.
Yeah, I mean New York, they played solid defense in this series. They weren't terrible. Some of them games they dictated how the pace of the game, which was good. Jalen Brunson was, I mean, outside of the last game, he was great. I mean, I don't like his game because I don't like how he draw all them fouls and he, play. I just don't like it. But I gotta give credit where credit due. He great in the fourth quarter. He going out there to get it. Big Cat. I'm not a fan of Cat, but Cat balled out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that game 1 hurt them severely. Like I said, we should be having the game 7 Monday if they pull game 1 out like they supposed to. That game 1 hurt them severely, but and they just didn't have the depth that Indiana had, and that's what OKC has, and that's what I'm saying. The league is shifting to where it's not enough to have a 2-headed monster or a 3-headed monster. You got to be able to be deep, or else you're not going to be able to compete with these teams in the playoffs. Boston showed us that last year.
But that's not the New York's fault. Any of the coaching fault? Like, you got 12, 13 dudes on the team, right? I
wouldn't say it's the coaching fault, but I will say it's the fault of the general managers. Even though I like Worldwide West and I like Leon Rose. They've been putting a good team together. They got a good coach. They made the trades that had them in contention to go to a championship. But what they don't have, and Tibbs talked about it after the game in the press conference, we need a little more depth. And that's what they need. They just need a little more depth.
The face to the dude number 8, 9, 10.
Okay, them niggas gone.
They're not good enough bench players. That's the problem.
Right,
too.
they
Even
not.
though you won't play him, you got to play him to.
He did. He did something. Fields did something he normally does not do. He went 9 deep. He usually don't do that, but he knew the only way that he could even try to stay in it with Indiana, he had to put some guys in to give some other guys a breather because Indiana was moving the pace too fast.
But if you on an NBA roster, you making the money to be able to be in the game.
Yeah, but you know there's levels to this.
Right, because you can look at some bench players like, I mean, like say like Ginobili, even though he was really a starter, but came off the bench. Like some Jamal Crawford, even though he was all offense, he came off like he was really a starter. Like then you just need a couple of those guys, like you said, Pritchard.
Right, when Boston had Pritchard, they had Horford, Pritchard, they had Porzingis, they had all these folk coming out the bench. You like, oh shoot, these folk deep.
Okay, even Minnesota, right? So when Ant-Man came off, kind of got his little breather, they put in Shannon, right? Was that Shannon?
Oh, yeah, the young guy, the young player.
Yeah, and he was
but he ain't really ready. He got a lot of energy, but see with Minnesota drafted this year for the years to come because they know they need depth. So Billingsley is one of the guys they rely on. He just ain't ready yet. They got some guys on their bench that are just not ready when you come to this level of basketball play. When you come into the playoffs.
Right, yeah, playoffs. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, every possession counts.
Exactly. Every possession counts. So Indiana and OKC, they play 10 deep with no problem. Their coaching staff has no problem putting a 10th man in and let him play good minutes, and that man might give you 10 points. That's tough to beat. Because now they can run up the floor all day. They're not really getting tired. Because he'll put another 5 in.
So I guess, that's just the thing. Everybody, you got to have people you can trust because, I mean, look at Denver. They really didn't have a bench, but they pushed OKC to the limit just because of Jokic and just their experience. They pushed them to the limit. Like
Denver got exposed too. And then you got Murray, who always getting hurt in the playoffs.
Well, I think the injuries and the fact that Jokic didn't. You got to get Caruso on the box. Even if you have to get an offensive foul,
do Caruso. That was kind of fun.
You cannot let him check you.
Right.
But he's a good defender. That's why he's been. That's why he's in the position that he's in.
I weigh him.
Jokic should
give me the ball in the block. Don't forget that posting up the free throw line.
The problem with Denver is the only thing. Well, I'm not gonna say because Indiana. I respect Indiana, but Denver could beat OKC. One of the problems that happened with Denver is Aaron Gordon got hurt. And they had some injuries, but another thing that happened with Denver, as you've seen in their series, is they realized the same thing that New York realized against Indiana. Damn, we need to go a little bit deeper. So they started playing stronger, and when they started playing, but I've been watching Denver the whole season because I'm a Westbrook fan, so I watch all Denver games. Stronger played big minutes in the regular season, but when they went to the playoffs, the coach was like, this is playoff basketball. I don't know if you're ready.
Hold on what you said there. The coach, right? Didn't that coach get fired?
Yeah. They did get fired. But the assistant coach, even the assistant coach, he took over with like 3 games left in the regular season. Which is Alderman. And even he, at some point in the OKC series, he was like, okay, I gotta go deeper on my bench, or else they just gonna run us out the building every night. Right. And that gave Denver a chance, but then Murray, who I'm not a fan of, he got sick, and then Aaron Gordon, he had a hamstring injury, and he couldn't really go like he needed to go. Well, now
Porter hurt his shoulder,
and Porter was a shell of himself.
Yeah.
So they, at the end of the day, they were missing too many pieces to compete with OKC.
Yeah, especially by game 7. You have to try to end it before the end because it's just.
What on the blowout? What, like a 30-point game?
Yeah, it was a blowout, but they were banged up. And by the time game 7 was, they were banged.
Yeah, they came out good.
They didn't get 10 points.
Once they made a run, then it was.
Right.
They put that door. They put door on the board.
It was just like just like last night when Indiana came out. Like I thought it was close. Like okay, New York got a chance, but that third quarter I happened to look up. I mean, I was watching, but I couldn't really focus in on it. Right. And I was like, all right, they up by double digits. And I'm like 3 minutes went by. Like what happened? I saw Brian hit a couple of threes, and they just kept their pace up. Then they press you, and I think that's just I mean it just wears on you, especially when we can press you. I mean Indiana was taking the ball out the net, one pass, getting layups. So I don't know if New York was. I guess they were obviously tired to an extent, but
it was the way they were defended. It was the way they were defended. So the big man had to get the other dude that was already at half court, and he's standing the 3-point line, so he's trying to chase him down. You make two good passes.
Basic basketball is, I mean, if you guard the top 1-on-1, you the first man back. But whoever Siakam outran, or whoever was waiting, they was just. I mean, to have that happen a couple of times. I mean, that's fatigue. That's not adjusting right away.
Think about it.
And it's just like, and it's kind of, and then you got Towns messing up on switches and everything. So I don't really know. Some changes need to be made. They obviously need to get deeper. That's one. But the coach gonna have to be willing to play more guys, or they need to get them out there and get somebody else. I mean, go get Mike Malone. Hey.
No, I think Tibbs did a great job. I don't think Tibbs' job is at jeopardy at all. I mean, they're not gonna go get nobody who better than Tibbs. It's just Leon Rose and World Wide West. They gotta add some more high quality basketball players to that bench.
I think Mike Malone's a better coach.
I mean, I don't know if he's the better coach or not. I mean, I think Tibbs. I'm just saying Tibbs did a great job. That's what I think.
Y'all both right. You just got to use more people. You got 12 guys on the team. You got to. I mean,
dude's over 60. He's been coaching the same way. I just don't. I think he's. I don't know if he's the right guy. I don't think he's gonna break through unless they get like a really good player or a great player. I don't see him breaking through.
Well, it ain't coaches don't go out there and shoot no balls and play no defense, get no rebounds.
They don't.
But people in the game though.
And that's what he did. Once again, if Neesmith don't hit 5 threes in a row at the end of game 1, we playing the game 7 tomorrow in the Garden.
That's right. They were up. You're right. They were up 14 with 2 minutes left.
Right. Now let's say we play another game tomorrow in the Garden and the Knicks beat Indiana. They going to the championship. Now we talking about Tibbs. He the perfect guy. Like
that's true.
I'm not gonna sit here and say just because they lost that he didn't do an outstanding coaching job, because I believe he did do an outstanding coaching job. I just believe at the end of the day, Indiana has a better team than New York do, because they can go 10 deep easy.
Right. So you think the players failed Thibodeau as opposed to him failing the players?
I think that the Indiana has a better roster 1 through 12 than New York do.
I mean,
basically saying Indiana beat New York. It won't like New York had a self implosion and
right.
Well, I mean, they gave away one game. I mean,
they did give away the game. I mean, they didn't give it away.
Right.
I didn't, like I said, I won't say they gave it away. Indiana went and got it.
Right.
It took a miracle. It took him hitting 5 straight threes, and Halliburton had to hit a shot that bounced off the back iron, went all the way up to the ceiling, and came down and went. Like when stuff like that happened, I can't say New York. It's just an unfortunate series of events happened.
But then what about against Boston? I mean, did you feel more? I felt like New York did fight back, but I felt like Boston didn't adjust. Like their coach was just as stubborn as adjusting, and kind of gave helped New York to an extent. So
but Boston ended up getting hurt. When Jason Tatum go down,
but before they was going down 3-1 before that.
Yeah, but then they came back and won the one game without Tatum. But you're not gonna win. You're not gonna keep winning without Tatum. But I believe Boston was good enough. I'm not saying they would have came back and won, but I believe Boston was built of the right stuff. That if they were fully healthy, they could have came back and won. Because Drew Holiday was banged up in that series too.
and Porzingis was sick. But I just don't think their whole formula was working. Like all the threes, it just wasn't catching it. So you're gonna lose ultimately anyway.
Right, it wasn't working. It wasn't working because they were missing too many threes. But they won a championship that same way because the three ball was falling down. So you live by the three, you die by the three.
What's going on in the NBA? It looks like teams don't want to win games. They just want to play whatever brand of basketball that they are known for. But when it comes to making real adjustments, it looks like if we pay you a lot, we got to play you. We can't adjust. Like in that Warrior series, it was like it looked like he couldn't really just put some players in that could affect Minnesota. He still had to play that same lineup, or you couldn't be creative. Okay, how can we win this? Maybe it's gonna look like a lot of, like you said, going deeper, but it looks like it's like in the New York game last night. Instead, you in the momentum of the game, and instead of going to get 2 points, you drifting out to the three. Like
it's just the way the program to play.
But that's today's brand of ball. But it's like but they don't understand. Like, keep getting the 2 points, keep playing hard defense. But it's almost like a three right now. That's not going to even win you the game, even if you hit it. But it's almost like it's real soft. They don't want to grind it out. And if they can't win pretty, they don't want to win at all.
Well, I give New York credit because them last two games, Cat went down to he was getting his points out the paint. They were posting up. They even were posting up Mikal Bridges. They was gonna play that way, and then but you gotta and with doing that, they controlled the pace, especially in Game 5. Mm-hmm. The problem is Indiana coming down. They can need threes. So they tried. I agree with you though. They went out of their element to try to match what Indiana was doing, and it wasn't working. But
didn't Pascal Siakam start getting hot from the long?
Oh, Pascal balled out. He balled out the whole series.
But he wasn't hitting threes though. He was kind of like in that paint.
Oh yeah, he was mid range. He was posting up. He hit a couple threes, but he was pretty much getting 1-on-1. He was getting what he wanted inside of the 3-point line. But to your point with the Warriors, you can change your game plan up. You can adjust by how you decide to run your offense or how you decide to defend, especially defending certain players. But it's hard to adjust by saying, okay, I'm gonna take this guy out who I'm paying good money because I'm paying him good money because he's a good basketball player. He's proven to be that. And I'm gonna play some guy who's not proven and see if I can mix it up. You get fired that way. That's the easiest way to get fired. You gotta play the guys who are proven to be what you paid them to be.
But see, in that series, I was like, okay, they really have a problem with the size. You might not have much offense, and it would be probably difficult to do. But and it would be awkward to take Jimmy and Draymond out. But
can't do that.
Let's throw a whole new set in there, because a lot of these guys, like you said, in the New York series, they get in and they're being effective. So if your life depended on it, which it doesn't, to win this series, you may risk something like that. But like you said, you may get fired. But if I didn't have nothing to lose, I'm like, yo, we about to run you off for 3 minutes.
But you got something to lose.
Jimmy and Draymond,
they balled. I mean, to a certain extent, they played well. Jimmy he didn't shoot. We can argue that he didn't shoot enough in them last couple games. He didn't turn. But if you watch the series, I'm sorry, but Jonathan Kuminga, he just ain't. He ain't what he need. What he's supposed to be. Moody played okay, but
Moody was
scoring, but he was still still a minus. Like, I don't know if it was defensively or something just went right with him. And then they got this young dude named Post, the white guy. He's like 7'2" from Boston College. Now
he played better than Kuminga and Moody.
Yeah, right, but he didn't get no burn at 7'2"
because
it's the playoffs, and you don't trust rookies.
And he ain't ready yet to play at that level. These coaches know their team, man. They know who ready. I mean, every now and again you throw a guy out there and he surprised you.
I don't know if the Warriors that whole thing they had. I don't know if that wins another championship. That style.
They old. I mean, Steph Curry getting hurt. That's the way.
Steph Curry getting hurt. That changes everything.
It's over.
Right. You had to have all around Curry, and
right.
Like OKC is back to like old style basketball. So I think somebody had the courage to go back, and when you have like just basic things, and if you play that way, you can kind of overcome some of the like with Curry. Like you said, it was younger. You had Clay, but it don't work. It work playing that type, like winning another championship like that at this age. Now you can retool and do a hybrid of it, but I don't know if they'd be willing to do that.
It's hard to retool and do a hybrid when you had the best two shooters to ever play in the backcourt. You ain't gonna find that again. But I will say this before I let you go, Law. I will say this: Steph Curry being out the lineup was a huge loss. That changed up everybody's role and how they were gonna play. Steph Curry is a problem.
Yeah.
And with him not being there, it kind of let Minnesota off the hook a little bit on the defensive end of the floor.
Definitely.
That's why I feel like Kevin Durant extended his career, because with Curry's size and how much he has to do, if Kevin Durant never comes to Golden State, he may be more worn down than he is now. I think Kevin Durant gave him some more life to be able to play this long, because he has to do. It's almost when I watched Derrick Rose play, I was like, it was great, but I was like, man, he has to play in overdrive just for them to win. And I was like, that's cool when you're young, but we saw the end of that. So if they retool, I'm saying like SGA, man, that's that efficient. I don't know why they're acting like that's bad. They're saying that, oh, that's not high analytics. Like, that's efficient.
Yeah, you give me 30 every night. I'll take that. I don't care how you get it. You give me 30 every night. I can take it how SGA give it to me.
No, send me the 15 foul trips to the line. Nobody wants to watch that.
It's totally different. See, even the Warriors, that's why they had to go get Kevin Durant, because it's all pretty as long as it's hitting. But when those threes are missing, it's terrible. But bringing in Kevin Durant, it was like that's a high percentage shot every time. I think any team that's trying to shoot the lights out, like certain times New York is trying to play that style, and it's just like more in and out, be efficient, play your game, and you may lose, but at least you give yourself a chance, not feeling like you got to shoot a three every time down.
Yeah, it's just the way they play. I mean, everybody's shooting them now. You have to be to keep up. You can't. If somebody's making so many threes, you can't keep shooting twos. You just have to match them to an extent. But if it's late in the game, I just believe take an open shot, take a good shot. But they still do some of the same stuff.
That's where, if you have a good defensive team, you're going to put the onus on. Okay, we're not going to rush our offense, because there are times once you get the momentum. Okay, now we're going to go for the dagger. But if you trust in your defense, now you can be like, okay, we're going to lock down. We're going to do something. Or if you don't have good defense, then we got to try to keep up with your threes.
But not threes aren't even daggers. They just the ordinary run of the mill. They're shooting 40, 50 a game. Mike, but what you was gonna say?
All right, so he brought up something good there. I don't know, y'all probably missed and glossed over, but he said something about the double bigs. So during the regular season, OKC and Cleveland was dominating, right? 2 7-footers in the lineup. They got like all the boards. They had a guy that took over like SGA and Spider. You know what I'm saying? So their win-loss record was like number 1 seeds.
Right.
But then playoffs, I guess, Cleveland ran into some injuries, right? Old boy jacked up his toe. Just all kind of confusion. And when one guy's gone, messed up the whole playoff chemistry. They couldn't rebound.
Right.
But back with OKC though, when you got those double bigs, right, and then you got a young team, you got Williams, who was a young second guy. He's kind of got it figured out. So it's kind of weird because you're saying, oh, these guys ain't ready. This is first really experience, right?
No, they balled that. They had the best record in the league just last year.
Second round.
Last year they took their bumps.
How is he ready? And he's his second year?
I mean, he balled out last year too.
He having up and down moments.
But
he proved against Denver that he's
right.
But he's in the lineup, right? When you start,
he started. Oh yeah, I think he made the All-Star team.
Yeah, he made the All-Star team.
Right. Okay. So he ready.
Well, he broke through. I think he's in SGA's 26, even though they're still young. So he still has his inconsistent moments. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But having the SGA there, but it's really home. They just have a really good team too. I mean, so
right. And we have to.
And even the other Jalen Williams, right? I mean,
right. I mean, they
came in. He's technically good too, but he's just better. He kind of learned the offense a little faster. Right.
What we got to remember is over the last 2 years, season took their bumps. They had to learn how to win in the playoffs, but they was already good. Just like Denver before Denver won
Dallas last year or something.
Before Denver, and the year before that, they lost to Denver, I believe. But before Denver won the championship, they had to take their bumps.
Yeah, you have to.
Jokic had to learn how to win before Boston finally won the championship. They went to a finals a couple years before that against Golden State, but it wasn't their time yet. They had to take their bumps. So sometimes on your way up to the mountaintop, you got to take your bumps and learn how to win in that type of situation. And your team got to retool and get a little bit better. And so Indiana, just last year, they was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Boston knocked them off. They knocked New York off last year. Now Indiana, with Boston going down, they take that next step. And now they in the championship. So sometimes these teams are good,
right? They gotta take their bumps.
I mean, these teams are good. I mean, I think because you was talking about the double bigs that OKC has, they have what I would call a perfect double big duo, because Hartenstein is good at defense, blocking shots, rebounds, and Chet can do it all, but Chet can go out to the three.
Right. Yeah, your second big man got to be able to stretch. So even like Mobley for Cleveland, he can stretch hit a couple of threes, right? Yeah.
Right. So then, if you want to go small, you can just take one of them off the court.
No, Mobley. I mean, he got better, but he's not consistent enough. He should have.
Yeah, and he all-star.
Yeah, Mobley was.
He played against Indiana.
How that brother not consistent?
But Mobley was dealing with injuries in the playoffs. They three of that, Garland, Hunter, and Mobley. You can't have three of your top guys dealing with injury and missing games.
But I don't know if Mobley. I feel like he probably could have. They all probably could have played game 2, especially Mobley. Like you need to play that game.
I think what happened, like during the regular season, like toward the end, they were like resting guys as they were still dominating the game and blowing people out, right? So I thought they was trying to. It seemed like they were trying to do that in the playoffs too. I'm like, dude, is he really hurt, or they just trying to rest him?
No, guys really hurt, and that's what I'm saying. Like what Maurice saying is he could have played. Yeah, sometimes you can, like Cat said, I'm gonna play even though he had the injury to the knee. I gotta play his game 5. I gotta go. Right. You can muster it up, but just because you muster it up don't mean you where you need to be. And
still, if you give him game 2, maybe it's a different series against Indiana. Like because he came right back in game 3.
Right. I mean,
they all came back because they was down 0-2. So
but when they came back, they just came back to muster it out. But it don't mean that they was gonna be able to play at the level that they would play at had they not been dealing with injuries. Just like Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was dealing with a knee injury in that series against New York. Now he missed a couple games, then he tried to come back and muster it out because he's a professional. And that's what you do as a professional. We look at you as a professional, you make a certain amount of money. We want you out there playing. If it ain't broke, hey, go out there and give us what you got. Well, you go out there and give us what you got, but it ain't the best that you got.
But the interesting thing too about that series, y'all, is that the games that Indiana and Cleveland played, they were pretty even in the regular season, and Indiana beat them 3 out of 4. Like they had some track meet games, some classic kind of games. So it really shouldn't be a surprise that and then obviously, okay, Garland hurts his toe, Mobley with the ankle, Hunter, whatever with his hand or whatever was going on.
Right.
You start losing guys, and then they putting that pace on
the gap.
You getting Ty Jerome getting called for 8-second violations because he can't get the ball across half court.
Right.
Max Strus pushed to do more. Mobley not being consistent enough. Mitchell doing all he can, but the second round wall is before him. He can't get out the second round. So it was just but I don't think Cleveland should have to do much. I'm not sure, but I mean maybe you do have to get rid of Allen, or maybe you have to leave one of them alone. But
you gotta just be healthy. I mean, money gonna be money, so money gonna dictate who stays and who goes. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing in every finals that we've ever watched. Mm-hmm. In football, basketball, baseball, the healthiest team is gonna be the team that's gonna rise to the top. Indiana is a good team. They was a good team the whole regular season.
But they got fortunate. The teams they played was getting hurt.
Well, they were a good team that stayed healthy. OKC was a good team. OKC was a good team that stayed healthy. If Denver stays healthy, I think Denver beats OKC.
So, okay, you're making our point. So when you have a deeper bench, that when you play less minutes, doesn't that increase your chance of staying healthy?
Yeah, but you gotta
not totally. It's not. Not exact science.
No.
You can just freak.
But hey, I'd rather be on the bench.
No, I see what he's saying.
He's saying on the court, get them all playing defense and could twist the ankle at any moment. So if I'm on the bench, my chances of getting hurt are a lot less.
Yeah, but you're a basketball player. You're a professional. I mean, basketball players want to play basketball.
Right.
Okay, even Halliburton. I was bringing this up, Maurice. Like his minutes per game is actually kind of low.
Yeah, like, because you got.
Yeah, they play
exactly because
he's healthy because he ain't playing that.
Well, that's because Indiana is deep. They can bring TJ McConnell in, and TJ McConnell can give you 20.
Because I was watching the game, I'm like, where's Halliburton?
Yeah, he can sit TJ McConnell in. We trust TJ McConnell.
Like, yeah, come on, boys.
Right, we know TJ McConnell is good. He come in. We don't. He's not a huge drop off from where Halliburton is.
Right.
So.
But Jalen Brunson's backup is a huge drop off.
Yeah. Payne and
Payne.
The line,
right?
So
he got benched because he was thinking it up, throwing that ugly stuff up. Now I'm like, man, what is it? Man, take him out the game. he in the top of the backboard and everything.
One thing you got to give him credit for, Payne. He know how to keep an NBA job. He gonna be on a few teams, so that's.
He's a professional.
There's
some teams that need him. The Washington
Wizards. So Ant-Man, Minnesota. I mean, I feel like Randall took them. I feel like they definitely got some breaks. The Lakers didn't have size. They had one old great player, and they had another player who don't play defense. So Minnesota just was healthy.
You tripping, man?
Oh, shade.
You throwing big shade. He throwing big shade.
He's great.
You have an old great player. So
that old great player you're talking about is still the best American-born player in the league today.
Best American?
He's the best American-born player in the league today. That 40-year-old. Yeah, I know. You ain't got to think about it. I don't even got. He better than Ant-Man. He better than Kawhi. He better than Tatum. Yeah, we know you got. You just saw the Olympics. Tatum couldn't even get in the game.
Right. Tatum. Come on. I tried to tell you before.
Tatum won a championship.
Tatum won a championship with Jaylen Brown and the rest of the team. That team was deep.
So why is LeBron? I'm not an analyst guy, but why is LeBron having the worst plus minus? That has something. He's just old, man. I mean, he can't play
because of what we just talked about. We just talked about when Lakers played Minnesota. Minnesota had the better team. Minnesota didn't have the best two players. The best two players the Lakers had in LeBron and Luka. But you didn't have a big man. You couldn't play. What's the big man they got out of New Orleans? Jackson Hayes. You couldn't play him.
You didn't have anybody big, and then you had
a great player
who doesn't play defense.
And one game it got so bad that JJ Redick, he played the starters the whole second half. I ain't bringing nobody in the bench from the bench in. That's depth. So what you talking about? A 40-year-old man who playing the whole second half.
You can't do that. You can't do that, y'all.
Right. So Rob Pelinka gotta get depth on that roster. They knew they had an issue at the trade deadline when they made the trade with Charlotte, because they were gonna send out and connect out and bring the Williams kid in from Charlotte.
Right.
But they rescinded the trade. They already knew they were done then.
Right. So, but they finished the 3 seed. But let me get to my point here. The fact that I felt like Minnesota caught the break of having that, because you have, and then obviously Steph gets hurt. So
right.
You're really not. Golden State probably gives OKC a better conference finals, or Denver. But as far as Ant-Man, I just think, I just kind of think he's young. I mean, he wasn't adjusted, and he played a great defense. So there's been a lot of talk about him being. I think he is a future face. I just think he needs more time. He's gonna need better teammates, because Gobert can't catch. And you can only go so far with Julius Randle.
This is my question that I had to everybody. Why can't the face of the league be a foreign player? Why can't it be a foreign-born player? Why can't it be SGA? Or why can't it be Luka? Why can't it be Jokic? We're looking for an American-born player to be the face of the league. Then it's always going to be LeBron until LeBron hang it up.
Well, you got
because these guys are not better than LeBron.
You still got Steph Curry.
He's
an American born.
Steph 37 going on 38, and he's still better than Ant-Man and all these other young guys coming up.
They're young. They
ain't young, man. These guys been in the league 3, 4, 5 years, man. It's time for them to step it up.
You just said they don't win until 26, 27.
It can't be a foreign player. It can't be a foreign player.
You're not going to reach a certain level.
How old SGA is?
26.
Okay, how old was Jokic when he won a championship?
Maybe just 28.
He
maybe
was 25, 26.
Who?
I think it's open.
Who?
It's open.
Giannis went old when he won the chip.
Yeah.
We just talking about America. I'm talking about. So why can't we have a foreign-born player be the face of the league?
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with it, because the stuff that made Jordan's era, the stuff that made Charles Barkley, the environment of that old world is no longer here. These guys get so much money. Like, let's take Draymond Green. Well, this is public, respectfully. So what I'm saying is, I'm gonna just take him out, but I'm gonna say that there's no incentive to do anything with your game. It's one-dimensional. And then when it comes to the playoffs, now you get exposed. So if it's not really in you to want to be that great, you could probably have a long career playing with your limitations and not increasing them. And so if the foreign players are taking the time to be well-rounded and crafted, inevitably let one of them be the face of the league, because our guys, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes where you say, okay, he should be a superstar, or he should, and like you said, Ant is young, but it'll be interesting to see, do you take that next step? What is that next step? Of course, you got to get the team around you, but are you going to work every summer to add those different things so when your athleticism starts to wane, you can still be effective? What Steph Curry, and maybe because he comes from that old world, because his dad was in the NBA, he got that, and plus he had the limitations of size, so he did develop something that made him stand out. But maybe the American players aren't. I think somebody mentioned, I was watching a video, like they come from such, like the circumstances are different. So when they come polished because they're really working, whereas with our system, with the AAU and stuff, and the highlights, we ain't getting the same grit. Like it should be like you're seeing these playoff games and 50-point wins, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
I think it's not. I mean, I think if they, I mean, let's all agree. I think we all agree the face of the league is really not a real thing. It's just
No, it's a real thing.
They
it's a real
throw out
thing.
there. You see
It's a
faces.
real thing.
On
LeBron been the
NBA
face of the league
commercials.
since he was 20 years old.
And that's I mean, well, you had other people in there too. Like
MJ was the face of the league. Magic was
Right.
the face of the
but
league.
you had Kobe, you had Shaq, you had Iverson,
Yeah.
you had I mean for a little bit you had even had somebody like Vince Carter. He was just so exciting. He was the face
Yeah,
of the NBA. But if it's a foreign-born player, I'm fine. Obviously, it's an American game, so people want to have a American person who speaks. We could understand. I think Giannis would have been fine, but he's just not. Maybe his English,
because he Greek.
Yeah. Jokic don't care. I mean, I say don't care, but it's just so. I just think the world been watching. The game started here. The world's been watching. They've gotten better. Just like anything else, it's just things change. So they've gotten better. They kind of taken over. So what they got? What we got? 7 straight foreign MVPs, right?
But
so it's just their time. I mean, I don't have no issue with it.
But when you win the ship, right, we're called world champions.
Right.
Well, yeah.
But is that really? You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah, it is really.
Well, I think it's now more than ever because you have more of the world involved in the NBA game. Before
Yeah,
it was all
if you take the best NBA team and you go take them to play the best French team or the best European team or the best Australian team, the NBA team gonna win because they got the best players in the world in the NBA.
I disagree with that statement. Bottom line is, it's like them other countries, man. They're so assimilated. They got the whole life and family on the line. We overpaid. And it's like, hey, we just think we're gonna take over, and it's like,
but they're in different countries. They're not all in one place. Like
you gotta play somewhere.
But I'm saying this: there's a reason why if you really good in France, you come into the NBA. If you really good in Australia, if you really good in Serbia, you come into the NBA. Or else you can just stay over there and say, I'm playing the best basketball right here. The best players in the world come to the NBA.
It ain't the same at a world championship, though.
But that's you just going off of. I mean, just something they just been given. I mean, I say NBA champions. I don't say nothing about the world champions. I know they're the NBA champions, and you clearly can't, unless they go play somebody else officially to become the world champions. But like James said, the best players are coming here, but in the other countries they're spread out. You got Greek, you got where Lucas from, you got Serbia. They're not all.
I'm not saying you take the top NBA team and go play the European All-Star team. No, take the best European team with all their raggedy players in the end of the bench and they two guys that are really good. They gonna get their head beat because the NBA squad. You can take the 12th little man off that NBA squad and he gonna start for that team. So it's just the teams are too good. Because the best players know that if they really want to earn some status, they're going to come to the NBA. But I respect your opinion on that. But let me say this about the American players, why it's changed. Because when we were coming up, a lot of great American players, the best ones, they were getting it out the mud. You know, they were coming from adverse situations. They were really trying to get out the hood and all that type of thing. Now we got AAU. These kids are not facing no adversity. Coming up playing basketball, they ain't got to worry about the same things that Magic had to worry about out there in the cold, dribbling and really getting good, holding their game up. Now everything is handed to them on a silver platter. They coddle. People don't want them to get upset. They don't want them to have to face adversity. They don't really face adversity till they get into a college situation. And now when you face adversity in college, I think they're transferred.
Right, that's horrible. That's horrible.
This guy came in, he better than me. Man. I'm mad. Right, I ain't got to compete with him to show that I'm better. I can just go transfer to another school.
That's horrible. And to go off of what he just said, it's like, I was trying to thought. It's like, it's cool to have a foreign-born player to be the face of the league. But like he said a lot of great points as far as we're just entitled. You know what I'm saying? It's like, United States just think we're just better than everybody else, but it's like, it should be American porn, but so what? Like, who cares if SGA is the face, right? If he's balling, if he's doing his numbers and schooling everybody and doing new moves, why can't he be the face of the league? So I think that's a lot of just American journalistic type talk, saying, "Oh, I got to be American born in order for that to happen." So I mean, so what? Yeah. Oh, just because it's been that way, don't mean that's the right way. You got to embrace change, man. These guys are coming up hungry. They practicing 7-8 days a week, and like you said, we in AAU. Oh, we just want to show the dunks and show the crossovers, but yet they don't have no defensive skills. They can't guard a pick and roll. They're getting exposed defensively, and then they pointing fingers and transferring. It's like
pick and roll is actually pretty hard to guard.
They don't have a post game. They don't have a mid range game. Yeah. They don't. They're not 5'2" basketball players.
But if you practice hard enough, you should be able to defend the pick and roll. You shouldn't be stuck on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is coaching, but you're right. Defense comes down to effort.
And we don't have the effort, man.
You gotta know. Okay, I gotta show. You gotta know your personnel. Okay, they run the pick and roll. I gotta get up on them. I gotta get up in them. Okay, I can drop back on this player. You just gotta.
But it's a lot of the offense is given. The defense don't get a lot of leeway. You can't stand in the guy's landing space. You can't hand check. Right. If you touch him, you're grabbing your arm and flailing. So it's too far. Now in the playoffs, we have seen it.
Playoffs is different.
It's been different this year. Like, thankfully, you can't. Yeah.
But
maybe you're not getting. I mean, they said SGA was doing a lot of foul hunting. Some he was, but he wasn't.
He foul hunt. He foul hunt.
But
not like Jalen do.
Even the
they both up there. The SGA gets a lot of 15.
Yeah, but I'm saying the way he does it is different from the way Jalen Brunson does.
Okay.
Yeah. When you 6'5" versus 6'1".
But SGA got some nice moves. He got some nice moves. Out of the post. He's really skilled. Like, he's just I think he's gonna be the main difference. Why? Okay,
he makes his teammates better too. He can make the nice passes in like dunks, backdoor alleys and stuff, man. They just know how to play. They know how to play basketball really well. They know how to play defense really good. What are you gonna say, Cornelius?
It was a couple of points. The World Championship, I think, with the NBA is more of a marketing thing. I think you get more of a World Championship when you do the Olympics, which is not a league, but a couple of games. And it goes, I think, because as a business now, NBA is the top product. Of course, it's not global, but that world title is not really a world title, but it's global, a global brand. So it's like world title, but not really. And the face, I think, is, this is why Michael Jordan is like the GOAT. Of course, he has the accolades and the resume for it, but it takes a special, like a Curry, like it's Jordan, like everybody was saying, comes from that old school, like he wasn't the best in his town, and then he grew up, and then you had to get out much, so you get real fine-tuned to go to college. But then he's got the look, he's got the swag. It's like Jordan's, just his persona just took the NBA to another place. And you could be great. Kawhi is great, but
he
can't, like, he's not excited enough to keep. And that's, as I get older, right now, after so many years, to me, NBA is gonna look like college, because I'm like, who am I logging in to see? Like, so it's so important to the point that they scouted LeBron, and to a certain degree, he had to move around, I believe, to get those rings, because we needed a face. So he did a great job filling that hole when Jordan left. But that brand, like casual people who look at basketball, like I feel like I am, you want that excitement. You want that guy. You don't care about the X's and O's, the person who's got that charisma. But the American guys can do it. They just gotta want to have a all around, because that face takes on a lot of responsibility. Like very vocal. You saw Jordan go through his years, but he was like, he took all the responsibility. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna win. We're gonna win till we win. And
it was different then.
But you don't know if these guys got that commitment. They getting so much money.
Well, I think they have the commitment. I think that it's the NBA had to really try to sell itself. I mean, you had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, kind of got him on live TV then. So they pushing like Jordan next level. I think when they want a face, they want someone who's extremely unique, extremely talented, like that. Like you said, the casual person is going to remember. And I mean, I think one reason why they push Ant-Man a lot, he's kind of won to a certain extent. And when you see him play, it's something worth seeing. Now with other guys, like I think you see that with Luka too. But with other guys, I don't know if Wembanyama's going to have it, but I guess Jokic, he's very unique, but it's more like you have to be a purist, like to appreciate like somebody like Tim Duncan. Now Shaq, he was just like power. Then Iverson was really unique. Now,
and Giannis is dominant.
But Giannis, I think his limitations to like maybe not be able to. He stands out because
the man put up 50 in the finals to win the championship.
He did, but one reason has helped him. He hasn't gotten back, and he's had some blunders, like acting like the ball's on fire at one point, like get the ball out of my hands. Like he hasn't grown as far as he's gotten his shoot percentage up from the free throw line, but it's something there that's not like he's a face, but because I think there's many faces, but he's not unique enough. Like
he's one of the best players.
Right, he's
not
top
American. 5. He top 5 player in the world.
Definitely, but he's not. Is he pulling in people like? Like
it's because he's in Milwaukee. If he was in New York, it'd be different.
Market.
But I mean, you have market everywhere. I mean, people we see. I mean, when they show the NBA commercial and they show SGA, Jokic, they aren't showing John Morant, so they're showing you the faces. But if it's not,
that was a question. That was a question I had when with all this like free throw merchant, data, like you can't hand check. So in my mind, I'll be like, figure it out.
All the great players shot a lot of free throws. Michael Jordan stayed at the free throw line.
Figure it out. You know, he's gonna hit you with some counters. Like if you really he because the rules are the rules. So
you got to play team defense on him.
Now
you got to play team defense on him. He's unstoppable.
But like I don't like the way Harden used to do it. Like
James Harden was unstoppable.
Like, directly, I'm not going for the shot. I'm just going for the foul.
But just like they did New York with Brunson, right? They started doubling him right when he crossed over because they knew he was in. Like they took the ball out of his hands. They may need to do something like that for SGA or something. But
that's what you got to do.
Big, let them try to handle and bring the ball up court or something. But you brought up some. But I want to.
Solid. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to recycle something back. So we're going back to the world thing here, and I would just say the U.S. got so arrogant they almost lost to France in that little gold medal game, right? Best players in the world. But if Curry didn't just put a team on his back and just start killing them,
right?
We would have lost that game. It was in France, hostile environment, right?
Right.
So it was like, All right, and then why can't something else I thought of about the NBA draft is that clearly you got 30 teams, right? And when I saw last year's first round, 15 to 20 dudes are porn, right? So all these American cats that were in college, they leaving early. They weren't even drafted. Cats weren't even drafted, like Armando Baycots and stuff like that. Like people that were good, they didn't sniff. They didn't sniff the league.
But you can see that. I mean, you can see that from a mile away. You can see that. I mean, the best players just aren't here. I mean, we got Cooper Flag this year.
Yeah, so Flag. Yeah, I'm glad you brought Flag. So Flag, he might be the face of the league. They trying. They going.
I mean, they want him to be the face of the league. He white. He American.
They start winning, and
he going to Dallas. He going to Dallas.
Yeah, right. He'll dunk on you. Right, he dunk on you. Ain't careful.
Oh yeah. He good. We're gonna see how he play when he got to play night in and night out against this top competition.
Yeah.
But I like him. They would like him to be the face of the league. Yeah. But my point is, this I don't put the onus all on the players, the American-born players. Some of it I put on the system that they coming up in, starting with AAU. Then you go to college. Now, if you really athletic and you got some sort of potential, so to say, every coach believe they can turn you to a guy. So now you taking guys who are really not ready to be in the NBA. They one and done. They coming to the NBA and they're not ready.
how can college even make you better if you 1 year you got a team, next year 5 guys leave, another 5 come in. How you getting better?
You can't get better. While they foreign-born players, they playing professionally, and where they from 15, 16 years old. So they already been playing professionally for 3-4 years before they even come to the NBA.
Same team though. It ain't like the team's changing like that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they figure out how to play basketball, how to have chemistry with teammates, how to run different sets. They figure now their liability is on defense, but as far as offense goes, they geniuses. They play at their own pace. They ain't trying to speed up and rush and feel like they gotta be at a certain point at a certain time. No, we just gonna play basketball. And
yeah, I just saw this Japanese league, right? It came on at like 6 a.m. It was like the championship. Had a couple of brothers on the team, but they were still shooting threes, but they were still like post game trying to dominate. They had old guys that were in their 30s, some little young cat, but the game was just different because it wasn't like that much athleticism. Cats weren't like coming down trying to dunk on anybody, but it was a more of a skill. I'm gonna get a little space so I can at least shoot my mid range. It was screening rolls, like complex double screens. It was like more coaching and actually better basketball to watch than just, hey, I'm gonna just do a high spin roll. I'm gonna just pull a 3. I really, that game was actually more practically exciting than even an American game.
Right.
You can say it like that.
Well, the NBA, the difference where they separate from the rest of the world is physicality and athletic ability.
Oh, yeah.
Just skill set. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find a guy in Japan that can shoot 40-45% from the 3. Just if you bring that same guy to the United States, can he defend and can he get that shot off? You know what I'm saying?
The difference is the fast breaks. On the fast break, you're gonna see a highlight. They're gonna attack the rim and do something crazy.
Right.
Their fast break, it was a layup. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
You get that get beat off the glass. LeBron chase you down, he beat that off the glass.
Right. So that was missing that athleticism part.
I mean, I know it's not totally gone, but I feel like a lot of the dunking, the player is different today. So 2000s, you had a great pool of talent, but it was attacking the rim. I don't feel like they attack the rim the same way. I think everybody is more focused on shooting deeper.
Yeah.
Now, when Ant-Man, a few guys, Ja, Zion, they go down the lane, but for most part, Giannis, but for most part, it's just, the big man getting fed, spoon fed right in the rim for an alley-oop dunk because everything is face up. So
yeah.
But you got people getting dunked on here and there, but everything is just really pulling further and further away from the rim. It's kind of crazy.
And my thing is
sometimes it's disgusting.
It's Tatum. That dude shot 15 3-point attempts in the game. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? You got athleticism. You can go down in the paint and talk on somebody. People are so engulfed with a 3-point shot, they tend to forget it's still a low percentage shot.
Yeah,
even though you often hit it at 40%, 45 sometimes, but still, for most guys, it's a low percentage shot. But you still got to remember, Boston just won a championship last year. The MVP was Jaylen Brown. Brown was going he played defense and he was going to the hole. He would still dunk on you. He would take the mid range. He shot some threes, but he didn't shoot that many threes. You look at Shea a mid range you all day. They gonna throw the oop and out, that kind of thing. They got some 3-point shooters to space you out. Even if you look at Indiana, Siakam just won the Larry Bird trophy for the Eastern Conference. It was inside most of the time, so it's still effective. Yeah. It just we pay attention to the 3-point shooting, but Golden State was the best team to ever do it from that aspect. But you still got to have your mid-range. You still got to be able to go downhill and get points out the paint. That's just, unless you just got 3 guys who can shoot the lights out the ball. Right, but even that still is not, with defense, it's still, we saw how 2015, and 16, how limited Golden State style was when they got to the finals. I mean, even though you're going to counter LeBron, but that system was kind of figured out to an extent. Like, they really didn't shine with it. I don't think as much as I thought they would. Then with Durant, it was just unfair. So
I wish they would have lost.
Right.
It took the big man out the game because they had Ogaskas and other like bigger dudes. But when they had that stretch forward, he was hitting those threes. It was like, oh, he can't guard him. Oh, he gotta, but he wasn't dominating them on the 2-point range on the other end of the court. So
LeBron is a whole different animal, man. He changed the whole game of basketball, and he made Golden State have to go get KD to beat him, because without that, he could do something that no other player could do. He can do the impossible. He can do the miraculous.
But I think hindsight, Golden State should have figured that out. They went 72-9, right? 72-10.
Yeah.
Well, some people got Bogut and Draymond. Bogut got hurt and Draymond got suspended.
Right.
Yeah, but Draymond was healthy. He just was Draymond. You gotta take that. Draymond gonna get suspended every playoffs.
We didn't know he was gonna be. We didn't know he was gonna have that track record. Then it was.
But he still is a five.
He was Tech. He was in that.
He's still behind one person
champion.
though. He's still behind one person in Tex, and that's Rasheed Wallace.
Right. And he's still a full-time champion, even with being Draymond with all his antics. So he's a pivotal piece to what they do. It's just that you still was up 3-1. Okay, Draymond got suspended one game. What about them other two games?
That's an interesting situation.
They had to bring in Sorry Azili. Don't forget about that. Now they had to bring Bogey. I heard.
But see, we don't make that same. And I agree with you. But the year before that, LeBron lost Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
Yeah, so it didn't.
And we don't say, LeBron would have had Golden State then, but he lost his top two players. All that.
That's what I was saying. I said it was. That's why it was looking so tough. Because remember, even with Kyrie missed a shot for game 1 in 2015. They would have won that game. So they were a good regular season team in 2015.
No, didn't they make it back in 2017? And that's when
they went straight years. So they went. Yeah.
Well, 2017. That's when Cleveland. That's when what was that? J.R. Smith. He gaffed on the free throw line.
Well, that was 18. That was 18. Okay. The last time.
They had a shot then, but it seemed like they didn't have no shot.
You think about that. You think about that,
man.
Right? You think about that last team. Well, J.R. Smith was they second best player. They number 2 option.
This Kevin Love.
Yeah, but I'm saying Kevin. Okay, Kevin Love was your number 2 option. I mean, look at LeBron sent the team to the finals. That the very next year they had the same team. But without LeBron, and they was a lottery team. They got the number 1 pick in the draft. That's how much of a talent he was. He was able to take a team that was a lottery team to the NBA Finals. I mean, to me, that was I put that. That's almost as good as him winning the championship to me.
Right. You have stuff that stands. I mean, they did lose a lot from that team. It was on the way down. They
still had T-Lou. They still had Sean. They still had JR. They still had Kevin Love. They had everybody.
But Kevin Love was
Shannon Fries and Mike Miller.
Right.
Come on, man.
Look at the guys.
When they were playing well, he had them. He took them. Yeah.
It was amazing, man. I mean, with that run that LeBron had in Cleveland, that was one of the most amazing runs I've ever seen.
The East was young because you remember Giannis wasn't ready yet, and then who pushed him? I mean, Indiana had like Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, well, nobody ready,
and nobody believed in Toronto. Right. So it's you get one sometimes. I mean,
the man went to 10 straight finals. That's that's unbelievable to me.
He went to 8 straight.
Magic. He went to 8 straight. Okay, he went to 9 straight.
See,
like that's unheard of.
The animal that Jordan was. We're not going 10 times to lose 8 times. We go
I'm not
going. We winning.
Yeah,
it's a different era. He's a better.
Yeah.
LeBron's bigger.
I'm not debating him against Jordan.
Better athlete, but Jordan said,
"Oh yeah,
I'm a monster. You coming to play with me?
I'm not moving. I'm not debating him against Jordan. See, that's what Jordan people do. when you give LeBron praise, the first thing, look at I ain't saying nothing about Jordan. I ain't saying nothing about Jordan. Jordan played 20 years. He made the 6 finals. That means them other 14 years.
He played 15 years.
Okay, he played 15 years. He made 6 finals. That means them other 9 years.
You know why I say that?
He was at the house.
You know why we say that? Because LeBron was the start of the inflation.
No, LeBron changed the game.
And going back to the face of the league, he's a phenom.
Inflation.
Herculean physique.
Right.
But the business requires there be a king.
He is the king. LeBron.
The business
he lived up to it.
Yeah, he lived up to he surpassed the hype.
Bill Russell, we go Magic, we go Jordan. And the reason we say that is because I'm not taking away from LeBron, and I'm an old head, so it's gonna be different for me.
That's cool.
We're on the same age, man.
Yeah, we all the same age.
It's just like almost manufactured. Like matter of fact, but guess what? Him and LeBron and Jordan get along.
It's always been manufactured. It's business.
LeBron and Jordan get along. They be like, these fools be out here fussing about us. We paid. But
I don't fuss about them.
But what I'm saying is like it just triggers coming like it's like you're going to be great. You went 10 times. You switched teams. Great athlete.
Back to deck. Don't forget that.
It's like
everybody who ever won a championship had a stacked deck.
No, they didn't.
They didn't switch teams.
No, they didn't.
Everybody who ever won a championship had a stacked deck.
They had a veteran team.
They didn't win. That's why what Allen Iverson did with the Philadelphia 76ers, that's just like him winning the championship, in my opinion. I don't care he didn't win the ring. They played a better team. But for him to get that team to the NBA Finals and win a game, because remember that Lakers team that they didn't lose but one game in that whole run. They swept everybody in the Western Conference. They lost one game to Philadelphia. That was the one game that they lost on that whole run. What Allen Iverson did, man, that was all-time great.
To your point, it takes a bit of luck too, because that time Scotty his headache, you lose your key people. I mean, it's gonna be hard. So that when Love went down, and so honestly, how good are the Warriors? You
can always say
that. Them. That's my team, but at the same time, you got some breaks. Kawhi went down. You won 73 games and lost the finals.
They lost the finals when KD and Clay got hurt, and then Kawhi and them won in Toronto. I mean, so that's just how it goes. That's it always goes. The healthiest team, NFL the same way. The healthiest team usually is the team that wins the championship.
And Mike just was blessed. Like the major. I mean, he probably had other injuries, but like like ACLs. He broke his foot, and he was able to endure. When I look back at the Last Dance, being an older person now, I was like, man, I didn't realize it was a broke down bus at that point.
Oh yeah, they got bumped out the first. Jordan got bumped out the first round plenty of time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that last championship run, when as a kid, you saw Michael Jordan and the Bulls like superheroes, but as an adult, you was like, yo, they was on fumes.
Them had 4 Hall of Famers on that team.
They was on fumes, like the Indiana had them on the ropes.
Pippen back was gone, and Rodman was definitely Utah was a healthy team, but Jordan said
Rodman played great.
That Mamba mentality is to the point of
he outplayed Phoenix too, and Barkley that had monster numbers, and he still don't even know how he lost to this day in that finals.
Right. I mean, that team was stacked, man. For a lot of folks, they
Chicago.
Yeah, Kukoc is a Hall of Famer. Scottie Pippen top 50. Jordan top 50. Dennis Rodman Hall of Famer. That's 4 Hall of Famers on one team. I ain't even got to the bench with Steve Kerr and them guys will contribute.
Don't do that bench stuff. Don't do that. They was role players.
To your point.
Okay, everybody bench got rolled, and it was different back then. Back then you went.
It was slow.
Back then you weren't playing 10 deep. You were going 8 deep in the playoffs.
No, Portland played. Portland had like a deep squad. They just couldn't beat Chicago.
What year they had a deep squad? They had a deep squad when 92? They had. No, they had a deep squad when they when they had Clyde Drexler and them. They didn't have a deep squad. They had a good 7 guys. when they had Scottie Pippen and Steve Smith, Rashid, Jermaine O'Neal,
Clifford Robinson.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
Danny Ainge coming off the bench. Danny Ainge was coming off the bench. Yeah.
Danny Ainge coming off the bench. They had the X-Man.
Petrovic. No, they have.
Petrovic was dead.
Augman?
No, Stacey Augman came later on.
Later on, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, that was the.
They had Kevin Duckworth, them and all them folks. Yeah. Come on, man, them folks had. Look, Clyde Drexler, your number one. Your number two option was Terry Porter. Now I like Terry Porter, but come on now, let's stop playing.
No, but I'm saying they won 60 games. They
had a good team
in 3 years. They went to.
I'm not. Clyde, that's why you got to give Clyde Drexler his due.
Oh.
Clyde Drexler, my camera. Clyde Drexler was a great player.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I want to bring this up. Y'all talking about great players and teams that did well, but they couldn't finish it all because y'all keep saying that LeBron is the one that started all this deck switching or whatever. But at one point in time, I remember the Lakers having Shaq, the Mailman, Kobe,
Gary Payton,
Rick Fox. He had all these cats and they lost.
The thing with LeBron was everybody was young in their prime. Other than Boston with KG, Ray Allen, they was everybody when they would do that, like when Barkley, Drexler and them stacked up, they was like desperate, like, hey man,
Boston stacked up too. Like you said, KG went to Boston, Ray Allen left Milwaukee, and he went to Boston, and they got some other players.
They were older.
But he went to Miami too.
LeBron did.
We never seen the guy at that point, and I'm
right
now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm cool. I like the aspect of the free thinking of like, I'm not, these are billionaire teams. I'm the cachet. I'm the asset. So I'm gonna go. I like that part, but we had never seen the guy say, hey, I want to go play with the other guys. That's the only thing that was weird. But for this new generation, it works. It's like,
it was necessary. Cool. It was necessary. I'm
glad it was necessary.
When LeBron first did what he did and went to Miami, my first reaction was like other people from the old school. What is he doing? This ain't never happened before. Why is he doing this? He ain't nothing. But then I sat back and I had to have a conversation with myself, a reality check, and I was like, you know what? Damn, he did what was necessary to do. He took the power out of the owner's hand and put it in the player's hand. Man, he did something that was real. That's why, to me, in my opinion, I'm not arguing with nobody over because you can, whoever your GOAT is your GOAT. But for that reason alone, LeBron is my GOAT.
I know true hard Cleveland. I know true hard Cleveland fans, right? If they the ones that can forgive LeBron, why can't the rest of the NBA do it? Y'all don't love Cleveland more than the
but we got a lot of us who came up through the era where the owners controlled everything, and the owner said you can go or you can't, and you got to stay here, and you got to play with whoever we put around you, and if we win, and that's why you got a lot of great players who never won a championship, but they great players though, but they never had the right general manager or the owners to put other great players around them so they could win.
I blame the media too, because as soon as a player is about to reach free agency or about to leave, they just trash them like, oh man, you suck. Why are you gonna leave? Blah blah blah. We want to be able to dictate where you go. We don't want you to have that freedom. Now I bring that up for Anthony Davis, right? When he was leaving New Orleans, right? They trashed that dude like he was just a scum on the earth. He wouldn't even play. He wouldn't even play the full game. He would play the first half. He wouldn't even play the second half because he wanted to stay healthy.
That looked bad.
Yeah, that looked bad. You want to be a professional. Like sometimes I don't like how the guys get out of there. Like Jimmy Butler.
It showed up later.
Yeah, Butler.
That type of attitude showed up later when he was in LA, and now you got to be the man. But when you develop those bad habits, where it's like, no, I'm not going to play. I'm gonna get out of here. Like when the pressure is on for you to be who you are, it showed up in Anthony Davis' life. And I think, to your point, like I think that's the positive side. Well, not the positive side, but LeBron, to your point, he controlled his destiny. Coming from the old school, I couldn't understand that. Now I understand, like, he's looking at, like, I gave you 7 years, like a relationship. Now, do I give you another, do I give you another 5? Now I'm 12 years. So to your point, he gave him he gave Cleveland enough time. Like, yo, bump this up. So
Right.
you didn't bump it up, so I'm gonna live my life.
Right, and people got to remember, Cleveland is a small market. It's hard for them to get free agents and guys to go to Cleveland to play. Michael Jordan played in Chicago. That's a big market. That's the third biggest market in the NBA. New York is a big market. LA is a big market. But when you got what Tim Duncan was able to do in San Antonio, and I don't like the fact that Tim Duncan took less money, but he took less money so that they can have the kind of squad that they had. And you can keep Ginobili, you can keep Tony Parker, and you can add all these guys. Because if Tim Duncan was getting paid what he really supposed to got paid, they wouldn't have had all them championships. But he playing in a small market. When you playing in a small market, you have to win in different kind of ways. That's like what OKC,
plus a great
what OKC is doing right now. Like Sam Presti done had to rebuild this team 3 times. Like, I give Sam Presti all the credit in the world for what he's been able to do to get OKC back into an NBA championship, because he had to retool that whole squad, and you're working in a small market. So you don't have the same luxuries that LA has, Chicago, Boston, New York. That's why for a long time, you only seen championship teams come out of big markets, Philadelphia. You didn't see small market teams making it to the finals and having success in the finals.
Well, when they happened,
in the 70s, you had a mix in the 70s. I think that's where this decade is where we're at now, because we got so much.
Even in the 70s,
but when
they get LA and Boston and Detroit and
Philly, he had a few win, but there were no repeats. But New York won twice, but they were separate. But it was just across the board, like it was no dynasties.
Right, but it was big market teams though.
When a small market is good, and they actually sniff the finals, that star player will end up going to the big market, just like Orlando with Shaq, or like other small markets that actually scratch the surface of being great. It was like, know what, let me just bounce.
But then some, it's not exact science, because some big markets don't win. Look how long Mr. New York has won. The Clippers never won. Who else is pretty? Chicago had won things in Jordan. They were a mess before Jordan. So it's still not an exact science. Like you're guaranteed.
Because it ain't just 3 big markets. You got a lot of big markets.
The players dictate where they want to go to and drive their force. And if LeBron wanted to go to a market and win, he had the pencil to where he could sign it. He said, "Oh, I want to go to LA. Let's give them a ship. Oh, let's go back to Cleveland. Give them a ship." The star player is actually dictating where.
Right. He's the only player in history ever to do what he did, which is win championships for 3 different cities. Like, that's great.
It was unique, and he did it in a time where it was a hostile environment of criticism.
Right.
But I think it's going to be the template of the future. Definitely a business model for guys moving forward, and it makes sense to the old heads, even though we fuss about Jordan and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, because think about it, Jordan put Chicago on the map, and they said, it's almost like they said, like it was disrespect. Like they were like, he should have some. He should be part owner of the Chicago Bulls, but they downplayed it. Like, we're part of the championship.
Because it's the big argument that was always made, which is why Phil ended up leaving and why Jordan ended up leaving. Jerry Cross was like, I built this team, and he's right. Jordan couldn't win by himself. He tried. He was a great player. He put up big numbers, but you had to have the right team and the right system around him for him to win. That's why he always won with Scottie Pippen. He always won with Phil Jackson. He didn't win nothing without them ever in his career.
Yeah.
He had to have a triangle system. He didn't win nothing outside of the triangle.
Well,
it's a team game.
Yeah.
But the NBA did it.
Wasn't established. He was a young coach himself. He just had
Phil Jackson, they hired Phil Jackson because he was in the developmental league winning championships. They were like, man, this guy can really coach. And then he bought in Texas Winners. He was like, exactly. So what I'm saying is, back then, the way they marketed Michael Jordan to us, I understand why people are diehard loyal. Michael Jordan is it. I was there. sometimes I dream that he had the Coke, he had the Gatorade, he had the McDonald's. He was doing videos with Michael Jackson. He was. They put Michael Jordan. They fed Michael Jordan to us and told us he is the greatest player. That's what they fed to us. No, and he came in the era where it was the marketing era. NBA games was on live. You didn't have no tape delays and then like that because you look at what Kareem did. Kareem was amazing. To me, Kareem could be argued as the GOAT. But he came in a different era.
That flying and them shoes.
Right.
And that tongue.
They had him with E.T. He was going over the moon. E.T. fall home. Come on, man. They did a great job.
He get Space Jam.
They did a
ball.
Right. Oh, I ain't even Spike Lee. Mars. You cannot jump. Can you get like? They did such a great job of making Michael Jordan ingrained in our head that he was it.
And it was.
And so I get it.
It was a different.
Right. So let's. All right. Yeah.
So
definitely.
It was linear TV.
Hey, all right. I hate to cut you off, but let's get out the past and get back to we're running out of time. Get back
right.
What our finals picks are: OKC, Indiana. I just think 5-6 games. I just think OKC's defense, their resume this year, the habits they built all year, I think it's just going to be too much for Indiana to Indiana could, I mean, obviously they could do it. And no pressure's really on Indiana. OKC, everybody's going to be like, y'all had the best record. Y'all young. You got to prove it. I mean, you're going to let this 64 win. How many ever games they won? Yeah, 68, 64, somewhere up in there. Go to waste. So, but I just think their defense, they got the MVP. Defense wins championship. I think that's just going to come down and be the deciding factor. And but I think it's going to be a good series. I don't know if the ratings going to say that, but there's nothing else really on. But I think it's going to be some good basketball for purists and people who. And I mean, it's the finals if you like basketball. So, and they both play an interesting style. I think Indiana pushes the pace. OKC plays defense. They not like on a loop when they play basketball. So
OKC is young, right? So they don't buy into this NBA script about keeping the scores close and the ratings close. They had a bunch of blowouts. So I don't see that script changing against these low paces. So I got OKC in 4. I think I'm a predict.
And they can score. They can score, man. But
OKC got defense. They can D up. And then Halliburton, he'll get missing. Like, he play a game and only had like 6 shot attempts. So like, what you doing, man? You supposed to be the next guy. You ain't even shooting.
But he's not. It's weird because he's not an offensive force, but he can have moments. But he got. I don't know if he's gonna be able to take. He's not gonna be able to take games off. I mean, it's just.
Then Dort gonna D him up. Dort gonna D him up, man. Lou Dort.
They put him on. Seems like they would put Dort on Siakam though.
No, he's small.
But you can't move him. I mean, well, I guess you can put Holmgren because it's what he might be too slow. Well, I don't know.
Well, Williams, yeah. I mean, I don't see the Patriots doing too much, man.
Because you still got Neesmith and Nembhard, so you gotta match quick for quick. So you got you standing by your sweep. What you got, James?
Well, I like OKC in this series, but I like them because I think the guard play is gonna be pretty much even. I think the backcourt play is gonna be pretty much even. I just think that their bigs are a little bit better and more dynamic than Indiana's bigs. I like Chet and Hartenstein more than I like Miles Turner. I can't trust Miles Turner. And you see, the coach can Rick Carlisle can barely trust Miles Turner. He got benched in game 2. They was like, I can't even play you down. That might have been game 1. They was like, I can't even play you no more. You turn the ball over. You not making good decisions. You missing wide open shots. It just seemed like the lights got too bright for Miles Turner. And if the lights in the Eastern Conference Finals were too bright for him, then the lights are going to be way too bright for him in the NBA Finals. And I just can't trust Miles Turner. So I like OKC because I like their bigs better than I like Indiana's bigs. But I can see this thing going 6, maybe even 7 games.
What you got, Cornelius, on the finals?
I'm gonna go with Indiana. A few games I've seen, some of the defensive intensity that they brought. I think they'll be motivated. It depends on their adjustments and how they handle this pressure being on the finals, stage. But just because I'm just going against the grain, so I would like to see. This whole thing with SGA and everybody crying about free throws. I would like to see them take whatever their defensive scheme is and kind of take that as a challenge. Let's see what we can do to at least take something away from OKC and see what their chances are. So Indiana. Yeah.
Okay, because their coach, he has championship experience. Carlisle's been, he's just been to one finals. Yeah, because with Dallas, that was it, right?
Yeah. Right.
And he won, and they weren't favored then, and
he's a great coach.
Nowitzki. Yeah, right.
He's a great coach. That's why I like him in Indiana, and that's why you scratch your head because Dallas didn't fire Rick Carlisle. He decided he couldn't coach Luka no more. He wanted to get out of there. So when you see what happened with Luka getting traded this year, I do raise the eyebrow at him because I'm saying, damn, great coaches don't lead great players. But Rick Carlisle left Luka, and them folks traded Luka. You usually don't trade transcendent players. But before I pay him $350 million, I gotta believe that he's worth $350 million.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true, Chris. Something's gonna come out if it does come out. LA seems set for the future. It just all matters how much Luka gonna trying to sacrifice. Because
I just saw a report. I just saw a report saying he lost a lot of weight. He's looking all great now.
Yeah, I saw a little
about the same.
Yeah, I know. That's what they saying to hype you up, to get you all pumped up for LA, just the rating stuff, man. I got media.
Right.
Stories got to be written.
Right.
This would be a great time for him to do it. Try to get it under control.
Yeah, he got the leadership of LeBron there. If he just take heed to it,
yeah,
it won't hurt.
Right.
Won't hurt. Yeah, so what's that? Thursday, so games won it Thursday, game 1 in OKC. What is it?
Hold up. Game 1 is Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, yeah.
When's game 2?
Probably Saturday or Sunday.
I got Sunday. Okay.
Because this might be an outlier. I think if OKC win, they'll be the youngest team to do it, right?
Yeah, it'll be something. Even though they have veterans on the team, which is
right, Caruso,
you gotta have your veterans, right?
Because it's been done in different ways. I don't know if it'll be like, obviously when Kobe won, he had Shaq, Duncan had David Robinson. I don't know who Bill Walton had, but he won pretty young too. Then Magic had Kareem, so Wade had Shaq. So it's an outlier to that youth thing. You can win a little ahead of the curve, but you need somebody else there to. But usually the main guy don't win till like he's 26, 27. It's just kind of a crazy thing with the NBA. Like history of the NBA, you don't come in and win right away.
Yeah, LeBron went to the NBA Finals at 22 years old with a trash team. Bobby Gibson and Ilgauskas and what's his name? William Delonte. Come on, man. Right. Like what he did, man. Like I've never seen that like
Detroit
before.
Was done. Detroit, they was on fumes. They didn't take him seriously.
Yeah, well, you can say what you want to say. That same Detroit team knocked Shaq and Kobe off just the year before.
No, that was 04. You talking about 07? That was 3 years later. They didn't have Ben Wallace either.
Right,
Detroit didn't have Ben Wallace.
You're right. Yeah, but still, that was a good team. And that Indiana team was a good team, but he still took a trash team to the finals. A team that if he went on, they would have had the first pick in the draft.
Thanks.
But he was
That's
their
just
pick.
amazing to me.
It was bad, yo. They had Boozy. Was Boozy there or no?
Nah, Boozer left. Boozer went to Utah.
Right, yeah, he left. Right.
So
He told him, "Hey, I'm coming back. Don't worry."
It was like Larry Hughes, Eric Snow.
Yeah.
So he had some experience around him. They just Detroit, but San Antonio, they just, oh y'all, we gonna show you how it's done. Y'all, we're not even giving y'all one. We're not even like, who was that? The Nets. They were experienced team, but the Lakers like, we gonna sweep y'all.
Y'all they had kids on when they had Kid and Kittles.
Yeah.
And,
just running up and down.
Yeah.
Kmart, Van Horn.
Yeah. Them cats. Yeah.
I mean, Jason Kidd would have been MVP, but he had that legal stuff going on. They was like, can't do that right now. So it's been some the East was bad for a while, man. That decade first started off, Lord, it was rough. So everybody went out west.
Yeah, usually supposed to go out west because they running from something. Everybody went out west, but
LeBron wasn't even there. You talking about? Well, Webber got traded out there. Garnett got drafted. Dirk got drafted out there. Shaq went out there. Because T-Mac went out there. Vince Carter went. It was just Iverson.
We acting like the East wasn't winning championships.
Not after Jordan. I mean, if you look at it, it was all West Coast until Miami in 06.
Well, no, Boston won.
I'm sorry. No, I'm Detroit in 04.
Right.
Miami in 06. But before that,
Jordan retired in 2000.
Right, but I mean 98 with the Bulls, so it was San Antonio, the Lakers 3 straight.
Right.
San Antonio again.
Right. They had the best players.
San Antonio.
Tim Duncan, Shaq, and Kobe were the best 3 players in that era. They had the best players.
Right.
Right. Then LeBron came. And nobody wanted the fool.
He didn't do anything. If he'd have won it at that young age, it'd been really special, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything special.
He got to the finals.
7 years in the league.
Well,
he got to the finals at 22 years old.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody was put on notice. They were like, okay.
But Bill Walton did it too, right? He won, right? Different era we didn't see, but he won.
Bill Walton had a team.
They have a squad.
Every time.
I don't think they were stacked like that.
Every team that wins championship is stacked. The only team that I ever seen that won a championship and they weren't stacked was the '94 Houston Rockets. They had Akeem Olajuwon.
He was that great.
Otis Thorpe. And
Detroit 04 wasn't a stacked team. The Pistons wasn't a stacked team.
Man, them folks were good, man. They were deep too.
Isaiah Thomas didn't have another top 50 player with him.
Who?
Isaiah Thomas.
He had Joe Dumars, Adrian Dantley, the microwave man, Bill Lambier, Dennis Rodman.
They weren't a top 50 player. They were the top. He was the top.
Yeah, only one team got 2 top 50 players. That's Chicago with Jordan and Pippen. Everybody ain't nobody else got.
LA had 2 top 50.
Yeah, they had Kareem and Magic. Right. Right. But I'm saying that's it. Everybody else, they didn't have 2 top 50s. They had Larry Bird.
Came out, Parrish and them was on that team with Bird. They were top 50.
Were McHale and Parrish in that top 50?
One of them.
I don't know. They was in there. I don't think that McHale might have been in that top 50. I don't think Parrish was in that top 50.
McHale was.
Right. Well, he done been bumped. He down in the top 60, top 75 now. He up there though. But my whole point is, all them great teams had Hall of Famers on them, except for Houston. Olajuwon won that first championship, but he's the only Hall of Fame on the team. He was the only All-Star on the team. But he had good role players and Vernon Maxwell.
They beat New York, and they had
they beat New York. That was the OJ. Right, that was the OJ. Right.
Next year, Clyde.
The next year, Clyde came, and then they was even better. But hell, they had to come back from the hole with Clyde.
I would say 11 Dallas, but Kidd was older, but he still was he's a Hall of Famer, right?
They had Yeah, they had a pretty good team. Jason Terry, all them guys, Tyson Chandler, and them was out there. They was out there, but that's why I got to give Dirk Nowitzki was a great player. He don't get it due like he's supposed to.
Yeah, that dude was nice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he couldn't get out that West Gauntlet till later on. To everybody kind of.
I mean, Dirk went to multiple championships. He just won one, but they played Miami with D Wade and Shaq, and D Wade shot 30 free throws in a freaking game. Like they were giving them folk the calls,
but they couldn't check him. He still was getting buckets.
Man, they were getting them folk the call. Man, Dallas should have beat them.
I was pulling for one time, right?
I was pulling for Miami that year, but I was watching the finals. I was like, man, they teamed the hell out of Dirk now.
But I mean, Wade, you couldn't. Wade was flat. He was truly flash.
I mean, if they gonna let you shoot 30 free throws in the game, then you ain't gonna win. But I give Miami them that credit because Shaq was out there doing their thing. He was still dominant.
They was old. They was an older team too, though, and they got hired at the right time.
And they had Antoine Walker and Gary Payne and all them guys went to get a championship.
Yeah. Then the next year they was done.
Right. These guys that we talking about that went and got championship, Gary Payne, Lonzo Mourning, he was already there, but he was a little bit out. These are great players that they had on their team.
Right.
That because you had Shaq and D Wade, now instead of being the first, second option, you the third, fourth, or fifth option, but you still an all-time great player.
Right. But I mean, credit to them for stepping up. You still gotta execute in that role of because you gotta be able to come down mentally, bring your ego down and execute in those small moments. And
but you don't execute. When you're a great player, you gonna execute. The game is easier for you now. You don't gotta put the whole load on you. Now all you gotta do is make your couple plays that you need to make.
You gotta be careful.
If that's the case, every great player, you have Westbrook, Harden. They don't have championships. I mean, some people still don't have championships.
Yeah, but Shaq, he didn't do nothing. When he
Iverson, you have to. It takes a special person to come down to a certain role player mentality.
At the end of the day, we always got to keep in mind one player don't ever win a championship in no sport. It's a team game. You can be as great as you want to be. Like I said, the only player that I know that I've ever seen that could really just take a team is LeBron. Other than that, it takes a team, and even with LeBron, he need to have other players around him who can play for him to have the ultimate success.
You got to put Dream up there because you just minimized Kenny Smith and Ori and all. I will give Dream that credit. Like I said, he won a championship with the worst team that I ever seen. But it wasn't the worst team I ever seen because they didn't have good players. But they didn't have another superstar on that team. But all the players that they had were great role players. Kenny Smith was great in his role. Maxwell was great in his role. Otis Thorpe was great in his role. Mario like Dallas, but look at Detroit. They probably won't have a 04 Pistons. They're very.
Oh, that 04 Pistons team was stacked. They like what I would look at OKC and Indiana now. They were deep.
I wouldn't. They beat you. I mean, you had Lindsey Hunter and Okoro coming off the bench. You had some. I mean, you had Prince. You had people fitting their role. Billups big shots. Now I would say Sheed is really a superstar.
She put them over the top. Yeah, because Rip Hamilton was an all-star. He was good. Chauncey Billups was good. Ben Wallace, defensive player of the year, he was good. They were stacked. I ain't even brought up Tayshaun Prince and what he was doing on both ends of the floor. I mean, them folk were really good. Like they were deep.
They were, but they like the pieces just fit perfectly. Then they made the right move, taking Carlisle out and bringing in. But they're going to be one of those teams, even though Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer. I mean, they're just kind of one of those outlier teams too. Then the fact that that's really unique. They went back the next year and took San Antonio to 7. So it wasn't just a fluke.
So they was a great team.
Right.
It wasn't no fluke. Them folk were good.
But I think if Kobe would have played the right way, they would have.
They beat them. They beat the stacked Lakers team, right? That's what
Malone got hurt, but they were.
Fox, Devin George, Horace Grant.
It came down to their situation was they had a better team than Lakers. Lakers had the best 2 players, but when you go 1 through 10, the Lakers couldn't match them.
Wasn't that the year that Fisher hit that shot against San Antonio too?
Yeah, that was the year that Yeah, Tim Duncan never supposed to go to the chip that year, but that's not. And you remember that was the same year, if I'm correct, that KG won the MVP.
Oh, 4, yeah, they lost to West Finals.
And Sam Cassell and Sprewell got hurt.
You know how Sam Cassell got hurt, right?
And they had to play Derek Martin. When they had to play Derek Martin, I was like, it's over.
You know how y'all know how Sam Cassell got hurt?
How he got hurt?
This fool, when he did the big ball celebration, he injured himself.
Oh.
And that's how he got hurt.
But Minnesota was really good that year. They could have went to the finals.
They were. I heard that's hurting Sam Cassell to this day because he still don't have a head coaching job.
Well, he's a champion. He probably get one. I mean, the Clippers paid him more. He was the Clippers, right?
But he been there.
Oh yeah, we forget.
He with Boston.
Sam Cassell was with that Houston team. That Houston team was really good.
He got championship there. Yeah, he was big in '95 as a rookie.
Both years, 94 and 95. Yeah, he was on both. He was a rookie that first year.
He was? Okay, I thought he was just there for the second. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, Sam Cassell was a really good player, man. He couldn't ever, he had back problems his whole career and things like that. But man, he was solid. Mid-range.
Yeah, that mid-range. Yeah. It was hot. It was water.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because he was playing when Kenny Smith. One time
Kenny Smith wasn't that good, but he get a lot of credit for his analysts.
He killed Orlando.
Kenny Smith was good. Kenny Smith was a good.
He was good at Carolina. We didn't see him.
He was good in he was good in Houston. I mean, he was in the dunk contest. They called him
Sacramento. He was good. Well, he got to show more of his talent. Yeah, he was good.
I mean, he was the starting point guard for an NBA championship team that won back-to-back championship. And when you double team Akeem and they kicked it out to Kenny Smith at the top of the key, he was knocking it down. He was a good shooter.
Okay, it
was like a spot-up shooter. Right. He was in that role, but as a starter.
Okay, like a BJ Armstrong.
Yeah, he played good. Ken Smith was a solid player. He ain't a Hall of Famer, but he helped Houston win them championships.
He's a good analyst. Good thing that's a segue. We're gonna get more of them. They and be on TNT is over, so we'll see how I look next year. They went off the air cussing.
Right, I like that. I was like, that's really cool.
Go out with a bang, yeah.
Right, I think they're gonna be good on ESPN though. It's gonna be the same show. It's just gonna be on a different network. So it's gonna be. Now, what I am interested to see is because ESPN got Stephen A. and Perk and all these folks. Are they gonna interact? Are they gonna try to compete with the TNT people coming to their network and being better than they are? I want to see that dynamic and how that play out. But I'm not really a guy that watches ESPN, but I probably will start tuning in to at least when Chuck and them on the stage. Because I don't watch Stephen A. no.
I don't watch Stephen A. no more either. I think will they try to hone in what Barkley can say? Because Barkley is best unscripted. You don't need him saying, "Oh, he got to go with this," or he try to read them little hockey highlights or whatever.
Right. Well, they taking their producers with them, so that's the good thing about it. So hopefully they're able to run. I mean, when you got the #1 basketball show for the last 20 years, I hope they let them people do what they know how to do best.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Maurice skipped out on this.
I'm about to head out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's getting late. Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah. But
good to see y'all, fellas. Hope y'all.
So everybody picked OKC, right?
Yeah. Except me.
I think one person said 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. Indiana.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick. I think Indiana can beat them. But I guess we'll see after the finals come up. Maybe we'll reconvene and we'll talk about what went right and what went wrong. And look into the off season and what can we expect going next year.
There we go, brothers.
But until then, man, it's been real talking basketball with y'all, brothers, man. It's been real good. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. Good to see y'all. Y'all take care.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
join me to preview the finals. Good talk. We'll see what happens between Indiana and OKC starting Thursday. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, subscribe wherever you get podcasts to the All Basketball Podcast. Streams on Google, iHeart, Spotify, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Maurice Dixon. Peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.